at a very interesting time at this moment with the COVID-19 disease and pandemic. As we are taping this, we really could go in two different directions. There are very nice people out there who see the glass as half empty and that we're heading towards a second wave. And if you follow their predictions, a second wave would mean that by Thanksgiving, children will be back home again. They won't be in school. That's going to cause people to have to abandon work and at least come back home to care for their children. In theory, if you take that as a full-blown second wave, we might again see the economy locked down, non-essential businesses declared, shuttered, and we could be way back to where we were before. And in that circumstance, I think the government would reintroduce the CERB program. Although it's not their intention to do so as we are taping this today, recording this today, I think they'd have no choice but to do that. There's another group of people out there who see this a little differently. So far, our economy has gone through 3 waves of reopening, and there's always been a little uptick after every wave as people get used to how to behave under that. Now, the 4th wave of the reopening was the kids going back to school. And we have to then look at the behavior both of the adults and the children. And so far, it appears that people are not behaving as well as they should. So we've seen this uptick, but I know other nice people who say, look, it'll come back down, that it's just a temporary thing and it'll come back down. And if that's the case, if we don't see much of a full-blown second wave, that it's just really an echo and we can get it back down to a reasonable numbers, then we can move from CERB to employment insurance. There is roughly about 1 million people who are unemployed today when we're recording this that were employed in February. Now, we've seen a dramatic move in unemployment when the September numbers are released, usually about the first Friday in October. I think you're going to see unemployment back down into single digits, meaning something like 9, 9.5%, 9.6%, all trending in the right direction. Today, retail sales have completely bounced back to pre-COVID levels. And if we can keep this momentum going, if we can avoid that second wave, then our economy truly is going to be back to normal. I mean, I don't want to be overly optimistic, but perhaps by Christmas time. But if this second wave, and I think what hurts us or worries us is that we are joined at the hip with the United States, where the disease is certainly not under control. There is no measure that would give you that sense that it's under control. And as we look globally, the disease is not in control in Brazil. It's not in control in India. There are some other hot spots out there. And the fear remains, what if, even if we get our lives back together, what if it somehow blows in from another one of these jurisdictions? So I think, unfortunately, people are going to have to just continue to be patient as it goes. Everything is going in the right direction today. The Canadian dollar is knocking on 76 cents US. Oil is playing around $40 a barrel. During this pandemic, at one point, you had to pay people to take the oil off your hands. Oil prices became negative, unheard of before, but now around $40. The stock markets are getting back to their record highs they had before. All the signs say that if we can keep this disease in check, we can keep it down. And maybe there's one more note I should have. There's another group of people out there who think we can't get back to normal until there is a vaccine. And I'm a little worried about whether that is a false hope. And the reason is that Canada has no mandatory vaccination rules. So even if we had an effective vaccine, let's say it's 95% effective, and we could make it available to people, we do not have in our system any order to people that they must take the vaccine. Thus, what would the immunity levels get to? If we look at the flu shot, which again is free and given to people every year if they want it, we get about a 30%, 35%, maybe in a good year, 40% participation rate. At that level, we wouldn't achieve herd immunity. There's another great expression, herd immunity from COVID. We'd really need numbers more in the 70% range. Now, of course, this is a pandemic. It's not flu. Maybe we've grown a little jaundiced about the calls to get a flu shot. So I don't know, but I don't think people should necessarily get it in their head that a vaccine is going to make everything right. Instead, we've got to take the measures, especially now going into more of an indoor season where we're going to be stuck indoors with other people and close, and the coolness and the dampness that comes with all that, to be careful. But I'm still bullishly optimistic. I have colleagues here in the School of Business who think I'm crazy. They think this is going to affect us for the next 2 to 3 years. But I'd like to believe that we will do the right thing here, and maybe by Christmas, things will go back to normal.